Hello, my YouTube family. You all are welcome back to my YouTube channel for another exciting topic. And today I have got a guest all the way from Brisbane, Australia. And we will be talking about our parenting challenges as African immigrants in Australia and New Zealand, respectively. So without wasting your time, we'll get right into it. I will let her introduce herself.
Hi guys, welcome. My name is Uche, and in my channel name, I am known as Niger Mom. I live in Australia, and I'm a skilled migrant, and I've been living in Australia for close to 5 years now. So I'm happy to be here.
Okay, welcome and thank you for that introduction. As I said earlier on, guys, we will be dissecting it, sharing our experience, the whole juggle between motherhood, work, being in a new environment, the culture, and everything you guys want to know. And if we miss anyone out, use the comment section, and I promise you, Uche and I will jump onto it as soon as we have time to answer it to the best of our knowledge, experience. So the first thing we will be discussing today is how we'll handle work, life, family, ensuring we'll keep our home together. So Uche, do you want to go first?
Okay. So when it comes to work and family, as a new migrant, in the beginning, it will be like everything is about money and settling in. You want to get a lot of shifts and all that just to have that money, because some people might borrow to come, while some people will take from family and friends that they need to return back. So for us here, what we do is we manage ourselves. We look out for what suits our family, whether is it work we want to do more, or is it family? You understand? Especially for us, when we came, we have young children. My youngest was like 3 years, and it wasn't that easy. So as a family, you need to have a plan. Yeah. So our plan was one person would do a longer shift, while the other person would do a shorter shift. And another challenge that we migrants also face when it comes to work too is people that have children that are going to school or daycare and all that. So when, like I said, my son then was not 4 years to start kindergarten here. So that is where community, making friends with the right people. I'm not saying you should put yourself out there to the whole world. There are friends and there are acquaintances, right? So depending on the community you're in and the people you chose as friend would also make things a bit easier for us. So as a new migrant, or you're planning to migrate to NS, that's New Zealand or Australia, try to plan with your family to know what suits you, because what suits me might be different from what suits you. Some people would target, let us make the money first, and don't care about their children's welfare or balance the equation. So that's, I hope I've answered.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for sharing. Like Uche said, it's all about strategizing to know what works for you. In my own case, when I migrated here, it was just my husband and myself. So my life then, and he was studying. My life then was work, 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 work. And how do I start? It was really draining. And that was like the first time I was really like staying, will I say, like together with my husband, because I was in Nigeria doing my stuff. He was in another
Yeah.
country before he now came home. We stayed a little bit. We are like, we need to go again. And it was New Zealand. So that was really the time as young couple that we had to like stay together, and it really
Do what you have
affected,
to do.
yeah, it really affected me in a way that it would take another like video or weeks for me to put it together, because I will be like going to work, he's coming back from school, we don't even see each other at the beginning. I'll wave
Yeah.
to him from the bus stop, he's coming home, I'm going, and he's going, I'm coming home. That's the
It
way
was
it
like
was.
that. It was like that with us one time. You
Yeah,
understand? That's why I said that when you come in new, you
yeah,
would follow the money aspect, because there's a lot of bills, there's a lot of things that you need to. But also re-strategizing it when kids are coming,
yeah,
or when your child is, you understand,
yeah,
it shouldn't be always that. There
yeah.
was a time too, we were like, he's going, I'm coming back, I'm going, you're coming back, and all that. But it's, after everything, it is our body
It's
and
our
our health
body. Yeah, your
that would,
mental health, your
yeah,
marriage. If you don't take your time, it
yeah,
will start breaking out, that
yes,
communication.
yeah.
So I
So
was,
planning. I always say that.
yeah, you
There's some
cannot say it
things I
enough.
wish I could change the hands of time with, to reduce, but they said that your past will teach you for the present. So you learn from whatever step you have
Experience.
taken before.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah,
So that's it, guys. So it's all about balance. You start off with
exactly.
what works for you. When you which that spot that you will know, I need to balance my life out. Nobody
Yes,
will tell you. You will tell
yes,
yourself, and you start balancing your family, your life, your finance, and start reducing it
yes,
so that you can have a bit of family time, and so that your
yes,
home don't break out too. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
The second question we'll be doing today: how have you managed to preserve your African identity, your African culture, and also how have you managed to pass it on to your kids? Do they understand your native language, that is Igbo? Do they speak it? Do they eat African food? And something like that.
Okay. As per the language part, is one thing I told myself that I have not really done well. Not because I'm in Australia, but because from Nigeria, we're living in Lagos. My husband is from another state, and he grew up in Lagos, so he speaks Yoruba very well. You understand?
Yep.
So it makes it a bit hard with the children. What are you going to teach them? I'm a core Igbo woman. And sometimes when I speak my core Igbo, my husband doesn't even understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So I try as much as possible to teach my children. At least I bought them some Igbo books.
Oh.
Some of them, yes, I have to ship it to Australia, because I really want them to understand our language. My husband is Igbo, but he's in an other tribe of Igbo. Not that he's not, though they don't like calling themselves Igbos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want my children to understand our language. And I don't allow first world country to determine some things when it comes to our culture.
Yeah.
I always tell my children that they are Africa and they are Nigeria, that they should not ever forget that. I tell them what it means to have a family, to be a family. You understand? The way we teach it back home, I try as much as possible, even though they'll be looking at me like, what is this woman even talking about? Which right now, like my first son can actually understand whatever I say in Igbo. And even though he cannot speak back to me, he can only speak a little bit, but not so much. So yes, I am trying when it comes to the language part, but we are not there yet. I wish I could do better than that. Because when you see other cultures speaking their language and we are neglecting our own, if I feel it, even me myself, that's why I said one of the things that I feel I have not done right is my children not knowing how to speak Igbo. But hey, they say charity begins at home.
Yep.
You know. So when it comes to African food, we eat African food at least twice a week. My kids can be funny with it sometimes, especially my first as well. He prefers the abroad food, but I make sure that they remember what it's like to eat okra soup, what it's like to eat insala soup and fufu. Anytime I make okra soup, everybody is hungry that day. You understand? So yes, we still eat African food. I still make sure that they have that feel of culture. Then because I'm also living in the regional area, we don't have much of Nigerian people here. And because of the, now you're in abroad, everybody is busy. You don't
Bills.
get to see, yes, everybody all the time and all that. But we tried, another thing we did was to join Nigerian in Queensland, the community. When we can, we go there for functions like Yam Festival and all that. So you will also have your own, you understand, represented, that you will not feel so much left out that you're missing a lot back home. So my house is still an African house. There are some things that my children would want to do, and I will tell them, we don't do that. As an African, as a Nigeria, this is not our culture. I always, always remind them where they are coming from. I am happy that we are in Australia, but I still don't want us to lose our identity. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Uche, for that insight. And on my own, you guys know my family is still quite young. So when it comes to how to preserve identity, culture, I'm still, how will I say, I'm still like at the early stage of it. But one of my biggest challenge is that when I had my first, that he's just coming up to 5 years by early next year, I really wanted him to speak Igbo. And just before I put to bed, I was craving Nigerian food. I got my family to send me food. I have to just make another video to talk on how you can send food to New Zealand.
Yeah.
The food, sending Nigerian food to New Zealand almost costed a kidney. Like you are selling off your kidney.
Of course, it's the same thing here. I have a video, just that I didn't say how much I spent, even though I used posts, because my other sister, of course, she was trying to save money as well. And I was also, let me not blame my other sister, I was also trying to save money. So we used post office. It took 8 months.
You are lucky.
I have given up on the on the items before it got here. And it is double of or triple of what you even bought.
So it's similar experience here. So when we got the food, we try as we can to source for the food, and buying locally here from food vendors. It's still very expensive, and at another level that if you insist so much that you want to really be having Nigerian dish every other day, it will be as if you are just walking to eat Nigerian food.
Yes.
So you have to balance out, and I tried my best to balance out. Just like you said, my first boy don't play with okra and ogbono. He will just tell you, "Mommy, souping today." So we are trying, but the cost implication and everything sometimes make me to take few steps backwards. Because you don't eat all you get from here.
And not also seeing it too, and not also seeing the variety of food as well. It's another thing when it comes to our African food.
Yeah, that's it. And when it comes to this language, will I say my boy had a language delay because I insisted he must speak Igbo from day one. So he will get to preschool, he will be mixing Igbo with English. He can tell the teachers, he can say something like, "Same, thank you," instead of saying, say thank you to me.
Thank you.
He will say same thank you, something like that. And the teachers will be he Mrs. English with something we don't understand. And I was like, how do I do this? I need to step one down and
Leave the other.
leave the other. So just to be realistic, he's living in an English speaking country, and I decided to take English further. So now that his English is up, he can communicate effectively. And if you speak Igbo at home, just basic Igbo language communicating, he gets it.
And
he gets the instruction, but he is not speaking yet. And
yeah,
I'm so much bothered about that.
you're not the only one.
Yeah, so this is part of the challenges we really
Yes.
go through. And in the midst of all this balancing, you still have got work and you still have got bills, and
Other things too.
here you can't have like a help like you guys do back home.
I'm telling you, I wish.
Yeah. You don't have your cousin visiting, so it's just within you and your household. Yeah, you have to do all your chores yourself and everything. So it's really, really hard. So do you have any other thing to add to this one before we go to the third thing? Wow.
No, it just what I will only say is when you're coming here, don't feel that because your child does not know your language, you will make your child not a full-blown Africa or something. No, you are trying your best, and be proud of the milestone you have done. You understand, whichever it is that your child knows how to speak, it's your child, and your culture is your culture.
Yeah.
When they grow up, and because some people can also know like what they are saying, what is happening right now. There are a lot of adults that grew up in Africa and they can speak their language, but when they come to first world country, they would pretend as if they don't know that. So sometimes we'll put our kids there, but we'll also allow them to make their choice. In as much as we want them to know our culture, you shouldn't enforce them to do what they don't want to do. When they are of age, they can make the decision to know, okay, I really want to learn this language because I want to know more about where my parents are coming from or where I'm also coming from.
Yeah.
Yes. So just one step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time. Okay, the third stuff we'll be talking about today, how do you meet up with your kids' demand, like things we are not used to growing up in Nigeria, like buying presents, attending birthdays, like if they're interested in any game, like how do you carry them along to make sure that they meet up with the game of their interests, and just balancing everything out, adapting to the new culture for them not to feel neglected or their needs left out, or their needs not met up by the parents? How do you do it?
Okay. So at first, one thing with us is that we open up almost everything with our kids, so they would know when we have it and when we don't have it.
Yeah.
Why we started doing that is that because we realized that when you start hiding some pains, you understand, from your child or your struggles, you're not also helping them to be confident in the future for whatever they might face. Nobody wants their children to struggle, but you will also be teaching them phase of life.
Yeah.
So when it comes to gifts, like Christmas gift, like this Christmas now, I haven't really shopped for anyone. Yes, I haven't. And when it comes to it too, we would always tell them, okay, this is what we have as a budget for Christmas. So make your normal list, except the 7-year-old that still knows Santa comes from, the chimney to drop the gift. Yeah, so he would do that one for the Santa, but
Yeah.
the two others that already knows what it is would pick their first three that they actually want. And people like me, I'm a mother, and mothers know how to keep home.
Yeah.
So you will not pick a three that will not also affect something. Let's assume now that you need a laptop.
Yeah.
You understand? And you would not want to get a laptop. Rather, you want to get something else that I will now come tomorrow and come and buy laptop again. I will remind you, why didn't you take laptop? Because with laptop, you can use it for school and you can use it to also do other things.
Yeah.
So we prioritize when it comes
Needs.
to give for the need of our child. Then sometimes too, we allow them have a go with some things and pretend. So it won't be like, oh, mom is always saying no, and dad is always saying yes. That's another thing we try as much as possible not to bring in, that, okay, this person is the person I will always go to and he will say yes, and the other person would say no. And we stick to whatever dad says. Don't bother coming to mom, because mom will definitely support
Say the
dad.
same thing.
We are in the same page when it comes to things. Then for activities for children, because here you're always working and there is no much friend and everything, we try as much as possible to put them in one or two activities. With that, they have a social life, not just sitting at home and playing games or watching TV.
Yeah.
If you're good with netball or school activities or after school activities, you pick one.
Yeah.
If we can afford to, as I said, we will. But if it is one that our money, yes, everything is planning, you can't go above your budget, because tomorrow there is school fees to pay, there is food, and there is McDonald's to eat. So you have to choose first of what you want. So it is good when you come in and you have settled and start making money from the country where you are, to enroll your child for after school activities. It helps them to develop that confidence and also meet new friends. Then when it comes to friends as well, I'm a very, very careful person. I would like to know the parents of the children my kids are hanging out with. Like, my children are always the only Black in their class, especially when my son was in primary school. Even my daughter in primary school, she's finishing year 6. Also the only Black, you understand. So I don't discriminate culture. You can make friend with whoever, but if you're making friend, make sure that our belief aligns with their belief. One thing I would tell people that another person told me when I came, you're like, my sister, she's an elderly African woman from another tribe. Yeah. So like, I don't say that your children should not do sleepovers or this thing, but know the kind of family they are going to do the sleepover with. Yeah. Because in sleepover, a whole lot of things happen. You understand? So it stick with me like that. When it comes to sleepover, they know that mommy will always say, I would allow you to go out with your friend in the afternoon, have fun with the parents, go to a movie and all that. But our house is a no sleepover house. This is what we believe that is the best for our children. Anybody can do what is also best for them. You understand? My children and their friends, we know each other. You understand? Yeah. Whether it's from another culture or our same African culture, we know the parents, we know. So the parents too can easily reach out to us if there is anything. This is how I want my children to grow, Yeah. So when they're of age, they can make their decision. But right now, yes, we have to guide them. Yeah, guide them to the right path. Yeah. Yeah. I hope I covered up all that.
Yeah, you did cover it up. In my case, it's still the case of younger kids, and it's not everything you say that they understand. Like, there was it last year that my boy had like 6 invitations, birthday invitations from medicine preschool. Yeah. And I didn't know how to go around it. I was like, mommy cannot be off work 6 times because you want to attend birthday. I've got bills to pay and I've got you to feed. And Yeah, so I started mentioning the names. You just have to pick two. I'm sorry. And going
Yeah.
for those 6 birthdays means 6 presents. I
Yeah,
cannot go for a birthday here without a present.
of course.
And I was like, I don't I know one is really your friend, like you won't miss that one out. That one is out. Among the other 5, just pick one
You pick.
person. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so this is how I juggle around as you guys know, my 2 kids are still under 5. So having that conversation with them is just Uche, if you would like to share with us how you manage your family size, planning, and things like that. Yeah. I know you've touched a little bit of it when we were talking. Yeah.
Okay, so when you're talking about planning as per money, holiday, or what? So I'll have an idea.
Everything
Every,
planning,
every,
planning money,
every.
grocery, bills paying, and yeah.
Okay, so we are a family of 5. What we do, okay, our job, we are lucky to have what we call salary sacrifice. Some companies here offer that,
Yeah.
whereby you get something like your grocery shopping, your rental out of your salary before they tax it, which help us a lot. So for me, my own part of my salary sacrifice is for grocery shopping. And my husband's own is for rent. So for us to, as a family, to also save for tomorrow and the case of our village people and all that, we have to, of course, you're in the abroad.
I
There will always
understand.
be, there will always be people now that would, yes.
Yeah.
So we make plans when it comes to bills. We don't do that, okay, because you're a man, you're going to have 70%, while as a woman, you do 30, So I will keep some for my bone straight week. No, we work, we do it because we are one. We are not one and half or half. So my husband takes care of, let's say, like I said, the rent. I do the grocery. When it comes to electricity and other bills, okay, you do this one while I take care of this one as well. So we do it the way we feel it is right for us. So when it comes to extra curriculum of our children, I have mentioned that before. If you bring in 2 activities you want to do, you have to pick the first priority first, the one you really want to. Then if we have extra to add to it to make you have 2 activities, yeah. One thing I will tell people is that know what you guys as a family can afford. That your friend from here can afford this, and you cannot afford it, doesn't mean you have to overwork yourself or be in a silent competition with your friend or neighbor just to have that. Be in your lane. Do what works for you and your family. We all know this inflation thing that they are talking about is not only in Africa. I tell people
Yep.
that even here, we are facing it. When we came, our fortnight grocery shopping would be 250 Australian dollars as family of 5. Right now, we spend almost 550 to 600 as grocery shopping every fortnight. And yes, it goes to do with children's food, every other food and others. And if I ever add African food, then it's higher than that. So I'm not even adding that at all. We plan what we want to do when it comes to, like I said, if we know we cannot afford a vacation, because my friend ABC went this year doesn't mean I must go. I do what I know it is best for my family. And of course, you also, as a new family or family with children growing up, you have to also show an example to your children that not every time we are in one big shop buying. Buy with priority, buy what you need. There is necessities and there is luxury. When you have the extra for luxury, please do it. You cannot be working like Jackie, that's what we call it back home, and
Yep.
still not have your me time. But know the reason why you are here and plan with your spouse.
Yeah.
I cannot stop talking about investments. I love investment. Even as my children are this small, I have started talking to them about investments. And I use myself because I am the person that they are looking at to give them example. I always tell them, I don't want you guys to work like mommy at my age. I want you guys, if you can start early, to start doing investment, shares, and all that. By the time you're my age, you will
You're
be relaxed
retired.
and be taking the shift that you want to do if you're a shift person or a working person.
Yeah.
I know my teenager likes car. And
Yeah.
if sometimes I take out time to take him out, or the drive or something, I'll tell him, oh, you see this house. Do you know when they bought it like maybe $350. By the time they sell it tomorrow, there's no way they will not make extra 50,000 on it. But hey, you want what do they call it? Mustang, children and cars and all that.
Yeah.
Now you can buy that. Okay, I use my phone. I said, okay, you see this phone? It is 2021 or 2020 and all that and all that. I might buy it here today and take it back to the shop. I will never get it the amount that I bought it.
Yeah.
But you see, an investment, a land, a house, or anything, you would always get something in return. So
Yeah.
it is the way you plan with your family would show what you want. Like I said, there
Yeah.
are times for fun. Take your kids out. It is not a bad idea. Go out in the movies, but know that you can afford it. Don't
Got it.
do it because every other person is
That's
doing
very
it.
nice.
Do it because you have extra resources to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I must say that you're a very interesting person, and I know you've added a lot of value to, and my viewers will really like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to add to what she said, she have older children, Maya still
Yes.
little. So when it comes to this planning, I can't really afford like the way we do it. What do they call it again? Is it childminders? What do they call it back home? So I do. My husband is the main person working currently. Yeah, if you've been following me, you will know I'm still struggling to settle down with something. So I work opposite of his shift anywhere we move because we need to save money off kindergarten, and I need to make some money too to support the bills. Here is not like, I know many ladies, many women in Nigeria now work alongside their husband. It's
Yeah.
not like where we just sit down and say, it's difficult for us immigrants to say, I'm a sit at home mom.
Nah.
That
Even
means
though what the government gives, it's not enough for
it's,
anyone to be a sit-at-home mom.
it's not
If
enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 If you decide to be a sit-at-home mom, you cannot afford the essentials for your family. That's the
yes,
bitter truth. That won't really be enough to pay for the bills and a whole lot of that. So
yeah,
most of us here, I don't think there is any like sit-at-home mom, or most of us here try to work a little bit, even if
yeah,
it's part-time or something. Just do something,
yes,
even if it
yes,
means working remotely at home. We just do something to
yeah,
support the family income, and
yeah,
what we earn, just like she said, come into beats. Not like back home, most women just earn money and it is for them to spend on luxury. Because
yeah,
if you don't bring your own money to the table, you will notice whatever it is won't meet up to the family
yes. It was
needs. Talk more of
needs, yeah,
wants. Yeah. So planning, that understanding makes a whole lot of difference. Yeah. If I'm to
yeah,
add to
and
what you have already said. Yeah.
yeah. And for planning, when it comes to what we do with our kids,
Yeah.
for us, I do more of the day shift. And my husband does more of the afternoon shift because, like you said, we cannot afford to get a nanny in abroad. Nannies are my salary is almost my salary. I can't afford that.
Yeah.
So that comes to sitting down with your partner and talking what is the best for you and your family.
Yeah.
When my child was 3 years old, what I did was put him in a daycare and also a family daycare. We have a family daycare different from the normal early childhood education because of course, going to work and all that. So the days he's not going to daycare, he's in the family daycare just to help us work. So when he also started kindy, it was few days too. But then we have to sit down and say, how are we going to make this work? You understand? That is where we came up with this, that I have to also tell my employer that I cannot do other shifts apart from morning shift because my husband has to do what? Do that. You understand? So in the morning, he's the one that takes the kids to school while I am off to work. Then my job is to make sure that in the afternoon, I do my own bits.
Yeah.
And for those of us that would ask, oh, can't you leave them at home and do? Nobody would know. Of course, your neighbors would always know when your child, and in different, you're in New Zealand, I'm in Australia, you cannot leave. Even my 13-year-old child cannot take care of the siblings alone.
Yeah.
You do that, you do it in your own detriment. If they find out, you would be in another. They would, of course, allow it maybe daytime for over an hour or two.
Yeah.
But sleeping alone without an adult in the house should not be. Don't outsmart the system because the system will always find a way to get caught with you.
Yeah. You have to be compliant at all times. Yeah. You're far away from yeah. Okay, you having said a whole lot of that, that leads us to the next question. Let's discuss about entitlement of those kids. How many hours do they get of kindergarten, preschool in Australia? Is primary school free for them? Is secondary school free for them? Tertiary education, is it free for them? And stuff like that. Are there allowances that government pay to children? You know, like in Canada, they will tell you every 20th of every month, they receive allowances for children born in Canada. Are things like this obtainable in Australia?
Okay, so for Australian kids, if you're a citizen, my children are not citizens, so I would not say much about that. But I know for a child to start getting any benefits, the parents has to apply for what we call Centrelink, child care benefit under Centrelink. So you don't just, like every other country, I don't know that every month they will just pay your child because your child is a citizen or a permanent resident. No, it doesn't work like that. So for your child to start also having that benefit means that one of the parents is not working so much and the other one is a stay-at-home mom. You have to prove why your child is getting those benefits. We don't hand out checks like that. Then depending on the visa that is not permanent resident or citizen as a child, you will not get any benefits. And like I said, you have to apply for that benefit. They don't just give it to you. For children education, it depends on the state you're in. I'm in Queensland. So if you're coming with some specific visa under temporal visa, like the 491 and 482 kind of visa, you can, and your child is going to a government school, it is free of charge. I know some other states too, in Australia too, with temporal visas is also free of charge, while some will ask you to pay a specific amount, not so much. Because it's also a government school, it's called a public school here. But if you opt for a faith school or a private school, of course, you're paying everything, whether you're a citizen, permanent resident, or a temporal, because they don't have anything to do with
the government.
So as a permanent resident, a child, or even the parents, or a citizen for university, the Australian government gives you this what do they even call it? Help. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
So they give you a subsidy that
Yeah.
you can get some money to study in your higher education. Then when you start working after studies, you will start paying the government back. And there is a specific amount you should be earning for you to pay back to the government. Yeah, so that is how it works. Then some people too with temporal visas can access some certifications without paying anything. And while some, you can only do up to certificate 4.
Yeah.
And you will get it for free, or you pay as a domestic student for the parents or for the children as well. Yeah, so that is how the system of education. And for babies that are in early childhood education or daycare, if you're not a permanent resident or a citizen, you will not get childcare subsidy. But if you are, you get up to 36 hours. Yes, up to 36 hours. Up to 36 hours of childcare subsidy, and also the amount. So for childcare here, you can pay up to 100 to 120 something per hour for your child. Yes.
100.
But yes, $100 to 120 or even more per hour in childcare.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, without subsidy.
Okay, without
but
subsidy.
But if they subsidize that, you will be getting like 70 thereabout or less than
70.
100, depending. Yes.
Okay.
Depending on depending on the childcare you go to. You know, some people, they are higher than some. That is why when you're coming in and you know you cannot afford it and you don't have any benefits, because it's your visa that will determine whether you're going to have any of this or not. Yeah. You can also get more than 70 as childcare benefit, depending on your job. Yeah. I know a friend that the husband's end in 6 digits, even though she's working a lesser job, but they cannot get anything at all. Yeah. Because of the salary
rate.
So they check all that to know where you qualify to. Yeah. So like I said, like I was saying earlier, if you come in and you know you don't have any benefits, or you're not a permanent resident or a citizen, of course you're not a citizen, you have to come in first as a permanent resident. There is always a family daycare. And one thing I love about Australian family daycare is that they have people that monitor those people with family daycare. So it's not like the one we know back home that you think that they will just leave your child and go to sleep. And yes, there is regulations. There are bodies that are looking at that. So if you can't afford this, please do what you can afford.
So what's the charges of the family daycare like?
You can, when we came, it was from $6, but I heard that you can still see from $10 per hour. And some family daycare would do pay as you go, meaning that if you keep your child for like 6 hours, you pay for that 6 hours, while some people will tell you that it has to be 8 hours, you get. And the time to start school in Australia is kinder starts at 4 years. So 4 years is kindergarten. Apart from
what
that,
age? From 4 years to
kindergarten is just 1 year here.
Okay.
So after 1 year of kindergarten, which is 4 years, and you don't have full studies like the way they do Monday to Friday. Although most government school don't do kindies, it's mostly private school. So they will offer you like 5 times in a fortnight, except you want to pay extra. If you're coming with, you have a student, you don't get anything. So you will just need to get yourself health insurance to cover you. So Medicare is what we call our health care here. It's like a card that you can use to go to any government hospital. You can also use it to go to any private hospital, but you would pay a specific amount if you're going to a private hospital that is not an Australian public hospital.
Okay.
And yes, it covers you up to some things, but not all surgeries, except you're also going to a government hospital for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we have.
Okay, there is a little bit of similarities here and there and some differences as well. So here in New Zealand, all you need is to have at least 2 years work visa.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I'm packing my bag.
Yeah, if your partner or if your wife, husband is studying, one of the parents needs to just be on open work visa up to 2 years.
To get a medical?
Yeah, to get medicals, to get access to all of these you mentioned, except maybe child entitlement if you are earning less than the threshold of which you'll be needing you will be having access to public fund. You need to be like a resident, permanent resident to access those. But when it comes to the basic, like government schools, all these subsidies for daycare, here for daycare, government like encourages you to stay home with your kid till your kid turns 2. Then from 2 years, the subsidy comes in if neither the father or mother have up to 2 years work visa, open work visa.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's really nice.
Your child can start daycare at 2 years. Depending on the preschool, you can get 20 to 30 hours free. Depending on the preschool and the location, then you augment the rest if you want your child to do longer hours. And when it comes to primary, secondary school, just like you said, all you need for your child to access public primary and secondary school here is the same 2 years open work visa. One of the spouse should have it. Then when you enter uni, if you are not a resident, permanent resident citizen, it should be pay as you go. You would not go at the local fee. So I think that's what it is at the moment. And when it comes to healthcare system, it's the same thing. If neither of the spouse have up to 2 years open work visa, you enroll into the healthcare system to the closest GP to you. So what that means, if you are sick or the child enrolled under you, the child can walk in until the child is up to 14 years. That's when this stops. Can access
that's really nice.
Yeah, so that's how it works. You don't necessarily need to be a resident, permanent resident, for all that to come into place. And if you are accompanying a spouse here to study, and if you have up to that same 2 years work visa, you can do some studies here and there, but not more than 3 months. Yeah. So that is what is obtainable here. I think we are enjoying a little bit.
You guys are enjoying, really, because that health care is very important.
No, it is.
Especially for people with family. Yeah. Because if you don't have it or you don't even have insurance and there's a need for you to get an ambulance, you will pay up to 5,000 Australian dollars for that. Yeah. And also having access to other things like childcare with 2 years is a good one, because that's one thing a lot of students that would come to me and say, oh, how can we, and all that, they don't have that. You have to plan yourself. I'm lucky I'm in Queensland, because I don't know if I'm in other states when we came, whether I will have access to also Medicare and all that too, you know. So it's a good thing to know that New Zealand gives you the opportunity.
Yeah. That was basically what attracted us here when we noticed all that. Oh, so if I have up to 2 years work visa, while my partner is studying, my husband, we become my partner here. Yeah. So that was basically what attracted us. Oh, so we can actually start off a family and not worrying so much about all of that. So that is how it is here. So I think we have said basically everything. So what is your overall advice to people that are still Australia is far, New Zealand is far, because we once said that. Yeah, because my husband was into UK before we
or
couldn't.
Canada.
Yeah,
UK.
yeah. You know, just like I said earlier on, my friends in Canada, you'd be like, in Canada, every 20th of, I say, I don't know they give out money there, but here, even the money that you would have having access to public fund means that you are really struggling here. So
yes,
I don't
and how can
understand
you now invite your family over when you're depending on the government to? That's
So
how I see it. I don't know if it affects anything or not,
I
but
don't
I
know.
don't think assessing is
I came here
when you
to
can walk.
hustle. Yeah,
Yes,
and
when you
I'm
can walk.
hustling
Why
and
would you
I'm
sit down
working.
and be
Yeah.
waiting for
So
$250?
yeah, these are the few questions people keep telling me. How much will they pay my child? I say I don't know. I'm not interested. I'm here to work, and I have that
Yeah,
energy, so I work. I don't even, if not because of YouTube, people asking, then I started doing research about it. I don't even care if they exist.
yes,
So that's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So what I would tell people that want to come to Australia is, like I always say, what they said, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Tunnel.
Australia is like a hidden gem. When you come here, yes, and you know what they said, when you're molding, when you're getting a diamond and the gold and everything,
Oh gosh, me.
till you get here,
Yeah.
you will see a lot of good things, especially the work-life balance. You know, they are not
Yeah.
pushing you to overwork yourself or to do what you don't want to do. They are multicultural people. You will see, even if you don't see 1 million of Nigerians, but you will see a lot of other people, learn about other people. And people that also think that 1 million animals can kill you in Australia, it is not true. We
Have
might
you
have
seen
one of,
Snake?
I have never seen any. That's why I brought it up. I even did a video about that. I have never seen any. Are they there? Yes, they are, but there will always be a caution and signs for anyone to know that, okay, you should not go here or you should not do this. Overall, Australia is a beautiful place to come to. And our minimum wage is very good as well. You
What is
know,
it?
we have one of the highest minimum wage in the world. As at this year, 2022, minimum wage is $21.30 something cents. And most people don't even earn that. You're depending on the kind of job you
I
do, you
understand you. Yeah.
understand? So, but the minimum wage here, it's is good.
Yeah.
And people saying that it's expensive. Once you start working and start earning the country money, it makes life easier for
Yeah.
you. And for someone that is new to the country, try to work out what is best for you and your family. Both of us can come here and tell you our experience, but our experience can be different from yours. So in overall, do what works for your family. So that's all I can say.
It's been super, super amazing having you, Uche. And trust me, we'll drag you back to this channel again. We just started, we've not finished yet. Thank you so much, everyone. And keep your question, your comments, keep them lovely under the comment section, and we'll be interactive. We'll ensure that we answer each and every one of you. Thank you once more, Uche, and thank you everyone
No
for all your
worries.
support.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye. I'm just